From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 for Friday, September 23rd. It is going to be chilly and mostly sunny to start this morning. Whew, it's in the 40s this morning. We're going to warm up pretty okay throughout the day. Some clouds are going to move in with the highs rounding out in the mid to upper 60s. Our meteorologists here at Wish TV say we can't rule out a few stray showers during the overnight hours into early tomorrow morning, Saturday morning. As for the weekend, it should be a really great fall weekend. Some slight temp increases, mid-70s for Saturday and Sunday. Some additional rain chances slide in for Sunday with a few scattered showers, possibly during the afternoon hours, but really today and tomorrow are going to be really nice. Funeral procession plans are set for slain police officer Sierra Burton. The route stretches more than 70 miles from Richmond to Indianapolis. The funeral service starts Monday morning at 11 at Richmond High School. The procession will start when the service ends. The route will take local streets to the Richmond Police Department, where it will pause for the traditional 1042 call, signaling the end of Burton's service. The procession will then pass under a garrison flag at 1st and Main, then head to US 40 for the journey west to Crown Hill Cemetery. She'll be interred in a section dedicated to public safety heroes. Abortion clinics across Indiana are opening their doors back up. We first broke the special judge's decision to block the state's abortion ban on daybreak yesterday. Now, Planned Parenthood says it's already resuming the procedure while the lawsuit plays out in court. Owen County Judge Kelsey Hanlon issued the preliminary injunction. She wrote there is reasonable likelihood that the ACLU could succeed in court. Hanlon says it's also likely the Indiana Constitution does protect decisions about family planning and whether to carry pregnancy to term. Planned Parenthood says it's grateful for the ruling, but the fight is far from over. Indiana Right to Life says it doesn't agree with the suspension of the ban, nor does Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita. He criticized the ruling, writing in a statement, "We plan to appeal and continue to make the case for life in Indiana. Our office remains determined to fight for the lives of the unborn, and this law provides a reasonable way to begin doing that." The Indianapolis doctor who gained national recognition after performing an abortion for a 10-year-old rape victim from Ohio shared her excitement over the ruling. Dr. Caitlin Bernard tweeted, "Today, the Indiana courts agreed that we have the human right to receive safe, legal abortion care in our home state. I will continue to provide this compassionate care each and every day." A Hamilton County judge will now decide whether a controversial business in Noblesville can reopen. The business, called My Inner Baby, is billed as an adult baby and diaper lovers store. The city contends it's a sex shop violating zoning rules. The judge started hearing arguments yesterday over the issue. The store sells adult-sized onesies, pacifiers, bottles, diapers, and more. The owner says some customers use the products for role-playing, but others purchase them for medical needs, meaning his store is not a sex shop. We also reached out to the city for comment. A spokesperson tells News 8, the city maintains its position that the business was not operating as a permitted use under Noblesville's ordinances. Our outside counsel made legal arguments today in support of that position and in the decision of the Board of Zoning Appeals. A judge convicted the final suspect in the 2015 murder of an Indianapolis pastor's pregnant wife. The judge found Larry Joe Taylor Jr. guilty yesterday of the murder and robbery of Amanda Blackburn. Police linked Taylor, along with Deanna Gordon and Jalen Watson, to the shooting. Gordon and Watson both took plea deals. Blackburn, the wife of Indianapolis pastor Davy Blackburn, was shot and killed during a home invasion. Taylor's sentencing is set for October. Gleaner's Food Bank plans to open back up after spending most of Thursday locked down. Police and food bank leaders are not giving many details about the crisis, other than to say there was a credible threat and they canceled operations for the day out of an abundance of caution. That meant people couldn't go to the community cupboard for help. IMPD says officers found no active threat and will keep monitoring the area. A special master wants former President Trump's lawyers to prove their claims that the FBI planted evidence at Mar-a-Lago. Trump, some of his attorneys, and other Republican allies have made such claims publicly, though haven't offered proof. Judge Raymond Deary is overseeing the investigation into documents seized from Mar-a-Lago. In a filing yesterday, he gave Trump's lawyers until next Friday to indicate whether they dispute the FBI's list of what it seized. Deary is also bringing in a retired federal judge to help expedite the review of the documents. He says Trump will need to pay the new judge $500 an hour to assist in the review. The congressional panel investigating the Capitol riot is naming a whistleblower who warned of potential violence before the insurrection. Committee member Jamie Raskin says he revealed Annika Navaroli's identity because she wanted to come forward before next Wednesday's hearing. Navaroli was part of Twitter's content moderation team and says she sounded warnings about posts that appeared to be planning a violent insurrection. The committee used Navaroli's testimony earlier this year, but did not name her at the time. To the war in Ukraine, where voting is underway on referendums to make 4 Ukrainian regions part of Russia. The votes are certain to go Russia's way. It would give Russia a reason to claim that attempts by Ukraine to regain control are attacks on Russia itself. Ukraine and the West call the move a sham without any legal force. Voting will end on Tuesday. Voting follows Russian President Vladimir Putin's order to mobilize 300,000 more troops. It prompted scenes of backed-up cars around Russia's border as people were trying to flee the country. Border officials near Finland reported significantly higher traffic as nearly as 5,000 people crossed on Wednesday. Mobilization also sparked protests across the country. A human rights organization inside Russia says at least 1,330 protesters have been detained so far in response. Hurricane Fiona was downgraded to a Category 3 storm this morning as it pummels Bermuda. Authorities there opened shelters and closed schools ahead of the storm's arrival overnight. Fiona could stay over Bermuda for up to 12 hours. It's already caused catastrophic damage in Puerto Rico, knocking out power and water to millions. President Biden spoke with FEMA officials and Puerto Rico's governor yesterday. He said the full force of the federal government is ready to help. Storm watches are now in effect for parts of the eastern Canadian coast as Fiona moves north. The FDA says it's monitoring how Fiona might affect the U.S.'s medical supply chain. The U.S. relies on Puerto Rico for key supplies like IV saline bags, cancer drugs, HIV medications, and blood products. The FDA says it will work to prevent any potential disruptions or delays in supply. Some companies in Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic have said they don't expect the hurricane's damage to significantly disrupt supply production. And a new study shows high school students with disabilities perform better academically in general education classrooms. The Indiana Institute on Disability and Community says the data is based on ISTEP scores from 2013 to 2018. Researchers found students with disabilities who spent 80% or more time in classrooms with non-disability peers scored an average of 24.3 points higher in English and 18.4 points higher in math. The data shows those students were also 22% more likely to graduate with a Core 40 diploma by passing the state assessment instead of receiving a waiver. You can find all of the results of this study right now on wishtv.com under the As Seen on Wish TV tab. To business headlines, an analyst says Lilly's obesity drug Mounjaro will be a big hit. The drug got regulatory approval as a diabetes treatment in May. Approval to use it as a weight loss remedy is still in the works, but UBS thinks Wall Street's estimates for potential sales are out of date and fail to recognize the size of the opportunity. UBS expects the FDA to expedite approval and that it could bring in $25 billion a year in sales. Lilly stock was up nearly 5%. FedEx will raise shipping rates by 6.9% as it combats slowdown. Inflation in the U.S. has been hovering near a 4-decade high. Walmart is trying to make it easier for you to return the things that you don't want. The retailer said some of its subscription members can get their returns picked up free starting next month. A new perk ahead of the busy holiday shopping season. Walmart Plus subscribers in some markets can use the company's app to schedule a pickup for their return items. More than 70 companies in Britain are undergoing a 6-month experiment in which their employees get a paid day off each week. So far, most companies say it's going well. 35 of the 41 companies that responded to a survey said they were likely or extremely likely to consider continuing the 4-day work week beyond the end of the trial in late November. Companies say productivity wasn't impacted and customers didn't notice. Costco says it will not raise prices for now on its membership fees or its famous $1.50 hot dog and soda combo. Costco has hiked prices on some items over the last year due to rising inflation, but the company's promised to keep the cost of 2 of the company's mainstays consistent, at least for now. And today, tennis great Roger Federer plays his final match. He's set to team up with longtime rival Rafael Nadal in doubles at the Laver Cup in London. Federer's retirement follows a series of operations on his right knee. The 41-year-old has racked up 20 Grand Slam titles. The Indy Night Market returns to City Market tonight. Organizers say there will be food, live music, and more than 50 vendors. They say there will also be family-friendly activities like face painting and life-sized games. The market is open from 6 to 10 tonight and from 4 to 10 tomorrow night. And finally, a long-running Indianapolis haunted house reopens for the season tonight. Nightmare on Edgewood has expanded for its 45th year. The haunted house is now 2 stories and covers 40,000 square feet. It's on Meridian near Adler on the south side. Gates and ticket booths open at 6:30 on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights, but tonight is the opening night. So 6:30 tonight's the first chance. Tickets start at $30. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com. And just follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV. Have a great weekend.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.